Well, I promise we're not trying to be cruel by showing you these plays. It's connection to this week's game. It's not Halloween. Nittany Lions want to exercise those 2021 ghosts. That was a late lead against Michigan. Cade McNamara to tight end Eric All. They're both transferred to Iowa and are starters for the Hawkeyes. And then this grab by Nick Reganey for Iowa in 2021 takes the PSU train off the tracks for a few weeks, and he is still on the team. It's a ranked opponent at home for a whiteout. Iowa's had their issues on offense. They hope McNamara and All solve some of those problems. Let's bring in our coaches. We reviewed last week's win. Now it's time to dissect this week's opponent. Iowa in the top 25, and everyone knows the Hawkeyes can be a thorn in the Lions' paw.
And one of the things that's been the hallmark of Iowa is consistency. The things we're going to talk about tonight are things that you could have talked about 15 years ago, 20 years ago under Kirk Ferentz. Let's talk about how their approach is. They are a defense-first, special teams, and then offense guys. And you look at what they are. They're balanced offense in terms of run and pass. Turnover margin is even. Here are some of the keys I think that you and I have talked about that you'll need to see. You got to stop the run with Iowa, as you know. You got to make the quarterback take sacks, make him force passes, which McNamara has shown, and then you've got to get the right matchup on the tight ends. But let's talk about the run game, because with Penn State's defense, they're really good against the run. Two different types of run schemes you're going to see from them. Some man schemes and some zone schemes. We'll talk about it. This is a man scheme, a power play, Tom. Creates angles, neutralizes the speed of the defense. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, here you go right now off the bat. You got 13 personnel sitting in this game. You got 3 tight ends coming at you. They're going to bring the big boys in here to run the ball.
Yeah, when you watch that guard just come over and absolutely dump that defender on his diaper, you better come ready to go when these guys come at you. And you can see it here again, and they get north and south. Now, let's talk about the zone scheme. Zone scheme is their preferred method. They like to literally create lateral displacement. The running back is going to get to an aiming point and then read what's happening and adjust and react, and that makes it tough for those guys on defense.
One of the things they're going to do, they're very good at knocking people off the ball, but they've lived for years on his eyes, the tailback's eyes, making the proper cut when he gets to the place where he believes he can make the move.
And one of the things about these schemes is penetrating defenses, upfield charge defenses like Penn State make these schemes kind of tough. So I think we'll probably see some more of those zones, or some man blocking and some man adjustments on those outside zones. So let's talk about how they keep those plays good. They do it with, they want to throw the ball on first and second down with play action. They'd rather not be in third and long, and they've got to fool these guys, Tom. But what do you got to tell these guys so they don't get fooled? What are your
One of my keys is look at the hats of these linemen. If those hats are low coming off the ball, it's a run. If they're higher, it's a pass.
Yep, and you can see they fooled the safety here from Iowa State. They get tight end Eric All behind them, and big play that opens things up. If Penn State gives up a bunch of these plays, could be a long night for them, but the safeties have got to be locked in. So let's talk about some of the other things you're going to see defensively. 12 points a game they're giving up. They're always good on defense. 286 yards a game. And again, they do a good job against the run. Some of the keys here that we've talked about as you look at the things to keep your eyes on: throwing accuracy, stay out of third and long because that's when they match up. Throw left if you're going to throw outside because the right corner is really good, and the 2 middle linebackers are really good guys. Let's talk about their base defense. 3 linebackers, 4 down guys, and the real good gap integrity, and these guys are really active in run support.
One of the things about this defense, we can talk schematically all we want. They're great fundamentally. They run to the ball, proper pursuit angles. They're good tacklers, and they know this scheme inside and out.
Yep. Now let's talk about what they do in the pass game. They're very basic in coverage, and they're really good at reading patterns and watching quarterback because they know what they do. They study what you do, and you can see it on this one, Tom.
Yeah, you sure can. That's one of the things about them. They know exactly how to play this defense. They've been playing it forever.
Yeah. I mean, look at this play. Just undercuts him. Next thing you know, he's going the other way. Third down now. Why you want to stay on a third down? They bring in another defensive back. They're going to play a lot of man, and then that gives these safeties the chance to play around and fool your quarterback. They're really disciplined. Most people on these picks try and stay with them. Here's a linebacker and a corner communicating on the pick and creating problems.
Yeah, they'll give you some exotic coverages on third down. This is where they get into what they call their cute stuff, some things that they don't usually do a lot of, but when you get them in this situation, they're going to give you a lot of different looks.
So the key is stay out of third and long, stay on schedule, and just like that, we're back over to Todd.
Now, Iowa's going to face a stingy defense and a maniacal fan base for the annual whiteout. It's not just a unique Penn State football experience. It's now a bucket list game for college football fans across the country. We'll keep it a little closer to home and find out how Drew Aller feels about his whiteout start at QB.
There's nothing like the whiteout for sure in all of sports. And obviously, it was very memorable to even get in a type of game like that last year. But I mean, really, our main goal, I mean, obviously, we're all going to take it in as a team, but we're not going to let that distract us from what we're supposed to do. We have to go out on the field and handle the business first.
Yeah, big national stage for Aller and the Nittany Lions. They are not going to have a lot of games against ranked opponents. They need to make this one count. Still to come, our Impact interview. Here's a guy that knows a thing or two about being an impact player on the football field on both sides. Justin King joins us to talk about the current secondary and how lockdown coverage affects the rest of the defense. And don't forget to show us your pride by submitting your Nittany Game Week Pride picks on our website. Could be at the tailgate, rooting on the blue and white from home, kids, pets. We want to see them cheering on the Nittany Lions. Send us your pride picks at nittanygameweek.com.